It's Harmon Dash here with Dr. Stuart Phillips from Make It Fair, and one of the biggest concerns people had about Donald Trump becoming president was, did he have the temperament? Is he a madman? Is this someone who could be trusted not to lead us into nuclear war, World War III? And now, so many months into this first year, and we feel like we're getting closer and closer to that possibly being a reality. Are we steps away from a nuclear encounter?
It seems as though more and more people are beginning to think that, doesn't it?
It does feel that way. You know, being out here, it's terrifying.
And this is something that everyone who's a thinking person has been thinking about for a long time. That we entrust the President of the United States with an incredible amount of power. It's not legal power. Legally, only the Congress can declare war. But because of the way everything is set up now, rather than in 1775, when the ships had to sail into a harbor and people marched and they rode horses.
So as time has progressed, things can move a lot faster, is what you're saying.
Now we have missiles. Mm-hmm. Over the time, we have not had laws, but we've had conventions that said that if the president thought that there was an imminent attack, he could launch a counterattack.
So if something's coming this way and we have only a couple of hours to respond, we don't need to wait for Congress.
Right. People are beginning to question that because we have an unstable president.
Well, so is there a way to stop him? I mean, he's got the nuclear codes, right?
Well, you know, we have to keep this in mind. At the most, North Korea might have a dozen nuclear bombs, and we have 3,000. So they know that they can't win a nuclear war.
You know, I've often theorized about Kim Jong-un having nuclear capabilities. I think if you asked him if he liked his life as the dictator over a little insulated, isolated bubble, he would say, absolutely, I love this life. And at some level, he's got to know that any actual attack on anyone, anywhere, and that life is over, right?
Yeah, of course. And as far as the North Korea thing, most of that is for internal consumption.
Well, and by internal consumption, you mean he's doing this big show for his own people?
Sure. He's doing this big show so that his people think that he's fighting for them. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
It sure does. Should it concern us that his rhetoric and Donald Trump's rhetoric can somewhat be indistinguishable?
Well, of course it could concern us, but it's not surprising. We're both human beings, and human beings like leaders. Remember when Moses went up to get the Ten Commandments? When he came down, the people had built an idol. People are like that. They want idols. Idols aren't very good, and especially crimson idols that are crazy can get you into nuclear war.
Well, so you mentioned how, you know, in the here and now, with things an attack being able to occur much quicker, well, so the president can bypass Congress to make sure we counterattack to sort of, but what we're worried about now is Donald Trump deciding, you know what, that guy tweeted something mean, I'm angry, and let me press the button. Is there a way to stop him? Are we in position for that?
From a practical standpoint, there are 3 people in the line of command. The Chief of Staff,
John Kelly,
the Secretary of State,
Rex Tillerson,
and the Head of the Department of Defense.
James Mattis.
If those guys say no, they can put Trump in timeout. And that's what we want them to do. What we're doing here now is to hopefully get a consensus in the United States that we don't want to go to nuclear war, and if Trump wants to do it because he's unstable, those 3 fellas we have their back, and we will support them if they refuse to obey the order.
Well, you know, the the sound about doing something to stop a madman like Trump is growing across the playing field, not just the people, but those who know Trump personally, members of Congress, other people who have been in position. You know, Tony Schwartz, who's currently CEO of the Energy Project, and that was Trump's co-author on the Art of the Deal. He tweeted, "Wag the dog, Trump is willing to start a nuclear war to kill tens of millions of people to divert attention from his failures. He is a madman." You've got this petty insults going back with Bob Corker, who's now referred to the Trump White House as an adult daycare center, maybe in need of round-the-clock supervision. You've got former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice advising Trump to please back off, watch your rhetoric, time to step back and let the diplomacy work. So we're hearing voices from both sides of the aisle representing lots of people worried about this.
I think that is the key. This is from both sides of the aisle. This is not a partisan problem. I hope we're not going to argue about whether we start a nuclear war. It's not good for anyone.
Well, I mean, the Constitution was written as such that, is it a suicide pact?
The Constitution is not a suicide pact. We have to act reasonably, and we have to support it. You see the tweets from the bottom, from the top. The people from the bottom should do their best to reinforce that we want to stop Trump from starting nuclear war.
Well, so what stands between madness and anarchy and saving the world now are these three individuals?
So far, it's what it looks like to me, and I hope they're up to the task. Those people have to use their best judgment, and if they do use their best judgment, we will be grateful.
All right, well, you know, what do you think? How do we stop a madman in the White House? You can always leave your comments on our website, makeitfair.com. Find us on Facebook and Twitter and tell us what you think. It's Harmon Dash and Dr. Stuart Phillips for Make It Fair. Thanks for watching.